YouTube channel near you.
Hello there, Val. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to another edition. Glad to have you there, everybody. Nice to see you. Hello there, Rebecca. Hello there, Gary. Well, I hit another button there, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Right button, right screen. Henry, Lorna, Brian Barber. Are you home yet? Well, I don't know. So, Lorna, Kathy A. Nice to see you there, everybody. Well, this edition is brought to you by, yes, you named it. Once again, you cannot blame them, right? Very good people. Texas Beer Company. You got to have them, got to love them. And it's actually in the store right now, so make sure to stop by. Actually, I'll drop a link down in our comment section, so make sure and see them. Very good people to deal with. So, yeah, thank you, Texas Beer Company. So, Tracy, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing good, kind sir. How are you doing, Grizzly?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So, thank you. So, everything going kosher with you?
Yeah. I got the. I'm kind of babysitting for my grandkid right now. So if you guys hear some noises in the background, it's not anything haunting us. It's just a little kid that can't talk yet going, ah.
Hello? Tracy?
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't get it, but yes. Welcome, everybody. A round of applause. Nice to have you. So, yeah, I'll just make sure everybody over at Texas Beer Company, if you got a man that wants you to smell good, we got the beard oil. Yeah, check them out. So, yeah, so what we got going on tonight, kind sir?
Hey, we got Team Brick here tonight. That's Brie Hollingshead and Nick Carboni. And
All right, welcome. Come on down, kind sir, ma'am. How are y'all doing tonight?
Doing well.
Doing good. How about yourself?
Oh, can't complain. Thank you. So tell us all about yourself.
Go ahead.
Me? No, you first.
I'm just I own a flooring company. I don't know how I'm on this podcast.
Oh, you know you're an investigator and you love investigating.
You better tell the truth.
Let's see. The founder of Old World Paranormal Society up here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Also founded the Bell Mansion. And I have the Old World Paranormal podcast.
Awesome.
We stream on, not stream. We put up on all podcast formats, and I don't know. We do pretty well at it. 25,000 listeners, 40 countries. So we have a good time.
Good deal.
And now, I'm part of Team Brick. So that's me. Hi, everybody.
That's awesome.
Oh, you look so happy to be part of Team Brick. Okay, so I'm Brie Hollingshead, better known as Paranormal Trip and Brie. So I go to and highlight historically haunted locations, and I'm also a member of Old World Paranormal Society. Been with this man for a hot minute now, and we
2 minutes.
we are affectionately referred to as Team Brick by a lot of our followers and friends and fans that watch us on our investigations and put up with our antics and weird sense of twisted humor.
Yes, pretty much.
Hey, so Old World Paranormal, right? You guys specialize in residential cases. What brought you into that aspect of it? Why did you decide to go residential on it? Just out of curiosity.
Well, I mean, just a very long and unique story. I was having issues in my house, and to the point where it was being physical, and I contacted my sister, got a shaman to come in, and I was just blown away by his professionalism, the way he was able to help me and solve the case, and that's pretty much why I got into it and founded the team. And we wanted to focus on paying it forward and helping people, and X amount of years later, and we've got well over 50 successful cases. and some take a week, some take a year, and it's just something that's near and dear to my heart. It's just, to pay it forward, help people, help teach people. And, that's pretty much why I got into it, for the residential aspect.
Well, when you say over 50 residential cases that you've helped, what do you mean by helped, for people out there that don't understand? Some people might think you just went there to investigate and
No.
or did you, like you said with the shaman coming to your house, you dive into it pretty well, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with a phone call or an email, and you schedule an interview. In the beginning, it was a lot. It was more difficult, obviously, because we were new. We were still learning and researching ourselves in different aspects of, spiritualism to religion to, psychological stuff, my background in construction, just everything. And, it starts with the phone call, you get the interview, and then I want to go interview you in person. And a lot of times we'll get a lot of evidence just in the interview. We'll run audio and video while we're doing the interview. We'll get a lot of things. And then we do a boatload of research on the property, the surrounding area, research on the people. We call it, a little bit of paranormal therapy. We ask those really difficult questions that a lot of people do not want to talk about, because, past stuff like that can affect what is being, haunted in the house. And, my goal is, honestly, if I don't have to investigate, if I could solve it without investigating, that's great. But the next step would be investigating, gather as much evidence, as possible, back up with the research, see what direction you need to go as far as, is it the people, the living people? Is there dead people in there? Is it intelligent? Is it something that was not human form at one point? All the way to extraterrestrials. We got to figure out each spirit, why are they there? What do they need? How can we, move them on or remove them? And then that goes into, can the team in-house take care of it, or do we need to, reach out to others to come in and help the situation? So I say successfully, we're able to get them answers. We're able to do something on the spiritual side, aka move the spirits on, push out anything negative, help them to learn how to protect themselves going forward. We can't keep coming back.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Sometimes, there's been a few cases where, like, hey, there's really nothing you can do. You should probably just move, and yes, in our eyes, doing all those steps and getting to the point where, the family feels better, we feel better about it, that we did what we were supposed to do, and we're not ashamed if we need to outsource or reach out to somebody else to help solve a case, because in my eyes, that's what it's about, is just making sure that your client, or aka the homeowner or business owner, gets the answers that they need. So it's extensive. I love to just paranormal investigate and go to, these pay to play places and have fun. And, we go out and act like teenage kids sometimes and stuff like that. That's fun. Don't get me wrong, but there's a completely different side of it, that's near and dear to my heart. Like, if I don't ever go to another cool place and just do residential cases, like, I'm happy with that. That's what I got into it for.
That's cool, man. You mentioned something that when you start at the beginning, you do an interview process with them. Have you come across anyone that you're like, for lack of better words, full of crap? There's no reason to believe you're a mental issue or drugs or alcohol. Have you run into that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a 50-50 there, and I normally get a really good gut feeling just off the phone call. But there's sometimes, it gets past there, you get out to the interview and you just listen to them talk and how they act, their mannerisms, their environment, this or that. And I'll look at them like, look, man, you need to clean yourself up, or hey, you need to go see a therapist, you need to go see a psychologist. Like, it's you. You're the problem. And it's a hard conversation to have, but in my eyes, you called me out here for a reason. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm just going to give you what I think or my opinion on it. So yeah, I have no problems.
How many people are in your group?
Right now it is, let me see, how do I me, Brie, my cousin Liz, which she's been with me since day one, Sean Coletta, who's on the podcast with me, and my daughter Gabby. That's it, 5.
Okay, cool, man. No, that's awesome. I'm glad you guys get out there to help the residential. Now, aside from residential, I'm assuming you guys do hit some, well, actually, I see you guys posting a lot. So you guys travel and go to different places. So first of all, before we dive into that, how long ago, Brie, did you join the Old World Paranormal Society? And what are your thoughts on the residential aspect of it as well, on what you guys do with them? We're talking success cases and stuff like that. Do you bring a different element to that, or have you noticed that she's brought a different element once you guys joined together and started doing on the residential side of things?
Well, she hasn't. She
She
went on one, but we haven't had a really good case in a while. They normally come in bunches, so it'll probably be midsummer, and I'll get 4 different phone calls for 4 different cases, and we ain't had one for 8 months, type of thing. But she will be, how do I say it, a very valuable piece to the puzzle and doing residential cases with her mediumship and the way she's able to communicate with the other side. We label these people as cheat sheets, where we have to grind and grind and grind to get one answer, where she just walks in, she's like, oh yeah, there's a guy over there and he's not happy and he's in a 3-piece suit, blah blah blah, his name's Jake. And I'm like, it'd take me like forever to get that, and she just walks in like, yeah, that's that guy over there.
I have a feeling that Grizzly's like that. If everyone hunting with Grizzly, he'd probably walk right in and know exactly what's going on.
I wouldn't tell you. I'm like, see that guy over there? Scare the heck out of him.
Yeah, no kidding. See me running out the front door. So Brie, I was reading through what you had sent me, and I've looked, obviously I've seen you guys on Facebook, stuff like that.
Right.
You said that you had your first real paranormal experience since you were around the age of 6. And if you wouldn't mind, let's discuss that for a minute. What happened to you at that point in time?
Well, I was 6. I grew up in a 1-bedroom home. And so my parents were downstairs. I had twin brothers that were born premature. And so it was easier to have the cribs and everything there. But the room I was in had twin beds, and one twin bed, of course, was covered with every, stuffed animal known to mankind, because that's what everybody gives a little girl, right? So I woke up in the middle of the night to roll over, and I saw what I believed was my mom sitting on with her back to me on the other twin bed. And I'm getting ready to ask her why she's sitting there, because if she came up to check on me, she'd always be laying like on my bed. Or not laying, sorry, she'd be sitting on my bed. And she goes to turn her head to look at me, and the light that we had on in the bathroom as like a night light, like I noticed it went straight through her face, and I could see like the 70s style, like big wooden mirror, big heavy top of like the dresser. I could see it straight through her face, and I quickly rolled over, pulled the blanket over my head, and went back to sleep. Got up the next morning and told my mom what I saw, and she pulled out a picture of my great grandmother, and it was her. She had no affiliation with the property. The last time I had seen her, I was 1.5 years old at her funeral, and I have no recollection of her there's no tie to the property. But that's when I started having regular occurrences up until I started going through trauma later in life. A lot of people say trauma will trigger your, your abilities that you have, whether it be empathic, sensitive, intuitive, um, mediumship, whatever label you want to throw on there. Everybody's gifted in different ways. And it wasn't until this past summer when like my sons were encouraging me to go find myself, and they knew the paranormal was a huge passion of mine because I'd raised them watching like all the OG shows, Paranormal State, Ghost Hunters, Haunted Collector. And so I started doing events and that's when my road trip started. And I would go to like historically haunted locations, started highlighting them, putting it on social media, and it just grew from there. But yeah, I would say it was on a trip like this past January when I came back and realized I could actually like read people, even as far as talking to our animals, which really.
Yo, that's trippy. That's trippy. She just starts talking to animals, and I'm like, I look at her, I'm like, I love you, but I might have to commit you to a psycho board. I don't know.
But, well, like he's sitting there, like, and the cat jumps up in my arms, and she's like a 5 to 30 second holder. You can't get her for much longer. And she's in my arms for like, what, over 10 minutes? And she's got her paws on me, and she's looking me dead in the eyes, and I'm responding to what, like, she's literally showing me. It felt like Twilight with Renesmee, where she touches people's faces and shows them her thoughts. And that's what this cat's doing. And so I'm like responding, and she's meowing along in response to me. And he's like, whoa. But yeah, so that's my journey in a nutshell.
So, hey, Grizzly, what did you do? Have you heard of that? The having trauma opening up your senses?
Yes, absolutely. Especially that and near-death experiences. Yes.
And I've actually had two, not near death, but death experiences. The first one, I had my tonsils removed, and I remember like floating over my body. I could describe to this day the surgical room and the surgical instruments, and come to find out my doctor was having an affair with his first nurse. That was interesting.
They offed you because of that?
I don't know if they offed me because of that. I mean,
she got whacked, ladies and gentlemen, because she knew too much.
I mean,
but like I went home and I told my mom, I was like, Mom, so like, did the doctors come get you or anything? And she's like, no, why? And I'm like, they didn't tell you I flatlined. And she's like, how do you know you flatlined? And I'd never seen the surgical room before. And I start describing it to her in full detail. And I'm like, they were talking about this birthday party coming up, that birthday party. And, oh, don't forget you left your panties in the back of my car. And my mom's like, we're talking to your doctor. Like, it wasn't like because of what I saw, but like.
Hey, man, you get in between a lover's quarrel, you're going to get whacked.
Well, he was married.
Yeah, so.
And she was married.
Brie, L&M Paranormal's asking you, what has been your favorite haunted location to highlight? Besides the in the back seat.
Hey, I wasn't in the back seat. They were talking about the panties.
I know.
I've been to so many. I can't even keep track of the locations that I've gone to at this point. They all have like a special place for me due to experiences that I've had. I had my most terrifying experience at Hinsdale in October. I was there for 3 days and 2 nights, slept in Mary's room, which nobody will touch with a 10-foot pole. Even when I was there, I asked Dan if he'd ever slept in that room, and he was like, nope. And Dan owns the house. So, I mean, that has a special place in my heart. Broadhead Manor has a huge place in my heart for very special reasons. I'm extremely close with the owner. He's like a father to me. I call him my dad.
God, funny dads.
Are you my daddy? But
Whoa.
I
We
wasn't.
just went from PG-13 to rated R in seconds, ladies
I
and
didn't
gentlemen.
do that.
Come
Like
back.
I was
No.
okay.
Hey,
Bad
you,
joke.
look, you have us on the show. You should already be prepared.
You never know
Oh,
what's
I
going to come
am
out of our
prepared.
mouths.
Trust
This
me.
is just
So
a little highlight of what we do on TikTok.
We're
So,
20
Susan F is asking you, what did your cat talk to you about or mention? Like when you had that moment with the cat, what transition?
She just was showing me her day, like her getting up, going to the litter box, eating. And then she was showing me her memories of how she came to be in this house and how she walked into the garage, where she came from, that she knew I was, her, she was like, I know you're my mom. And it was weird because all the animals were like, kind of showing me like the past that I hadn't been a part of. And so I mean, it was just kind of like a recap. In honesty, it felt like a recap. Like she knew I could hear her and I could see what she was showing me, and she showed me everything from walking into the garage as a stray here to the time I walked in the door and till that very moment. Like she was like replaying an instant. It was like an instant replay. So I mean, it was really cool. But yeah, like with haunted locations, I've got so many that are like important to me. One that's really near and dear to my heart would be Wildwood Sanitarium. I'm actually going to be there the first full week solo
Look at
of
you plugging away.
June,
Look
from
at
the
you.
3rd, that Monday, until the 7th is when I come home. So I'll be running live almost 24/7 on 4 different platforms while I'm out there.
Oh, that's wicked.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's actually where my show, Remotely Paranormal, got its start, was from Wildwood. So it's definitely a special place, and the Wildwood owners, they're like family. They truly are. They're like family. Absolutely love and adore them.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that remotely paranormal. That's a pretty cool idea that you have there.
Oh, thank
If
you.
you want to explain it to people, let them know what it is, please.
Oh, okay. So to explain Remotely Paranormal, I gotta go back to the start. So in September, Chris Smith, if anybody has watched Hulu's Monster Inside, you will know who Chris is. He's the main narrator through the whole documentary about McCamey Manor and Russ McCamey. And he reached out to me and was like, I think we could do an amazing crossover of our genres. Like, I'm real big into like the haunts, like the Halloween haunts, extreme haunts, all of that. You're big into the paranormal. I love the paranormal. Why don't we team up and do a collaboration? And I was like, I'm all for this. Let's go. So October 15th, I actually went up to Michigan and we went to 2 Halloween haunts. Went and did Eloise Asylum, which was cool because actually got a chance to go in the basement. The basement's only open for, you can't get into it for investigations. It's only open for the Halloween haunt. And so we did that. And then we went to this other place called Hush, which was really cool because we could drink our way through it. Very adult oriented. It was really awesome though. And it was like each stop that you did, like, cause you had like a VIP badge, somebody would step out from like the shadows and they would like grab you and escort you off to the side, and they would have like a drink specialized just to like that little area. And then it kind of flowed into the theme of the next part of the Halloween haunt.
That's pretty
So
wicked.
yeah, it was awesome. So we went and did that. And then I went on my 3-week trip that I did for Halloween, the end of October, going into the beginning of November. And we had another part lined up. We were going to go to Madison Seminary and investigate together for the night. And I got like this idea, and I'm like, I'm going to go and highlight Wildwood. What if we were to do an event with Wildwood? And so nobody knew until like literally the day of when we went live. Everybody thought he was going to be with me. If you look at the promo poster, he's on the promo poster with me. But if you paid attention to the promo poster, you would realize that he wasn't going to be with me, because I'm standing in the very front doing my pose with my arms out, and he's actually floating above, like in the air, over Wildwood. Yeah, my arms out pose from the cemetery. And he's over the house, but he's got his headset with a mic on. So if you paid attention to the small detail, very much like yours, Grizzly, like you would have realized something's up. He's got a headset on. Why is he wearing a headset? So he actually gave me 5 rooms, 5 different challenges to do. And then I spent the night there. And that was kind of like the birth of Remotely Paranormal. And we got to talking after we got done with Madison Seminary investigating together. And I was like, what if we were to continue and play off of what we did at Wildwood? And he was like, you know what? That would be amazing. You don't see anybody doing that. So we went and had our first episode of Remotely Paranormal at the Mysterious Monroe House. I know a lot of people on YouTube like to label that the Demon House. I don't do the D word. We don't do the D word. So, yeah. And so I went there and we did Remotely Paranormal, and I spent the night. So it's kind of become like my stick too. Like, not only do I investigate solo, I will spend the night solo in the location and run live. So I did Mysterious Monroe in December. In January, we did a massive event. It was one event, 3 locations, 3 nights in a row. I started off at the Hinsdale house, went to Niagara Western Block. Now, I know that it's not like a big, well-known location, but if you watch Deathwalker with Nick Groff and his wife Tessa, it's in season 3, and it's going to be on season 4 due to the activity that they got there for season 3. And then I ended up at Wildwood again. And then we took a month break. We went to Broadhead Manor. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see something Remotely Paranormal-esque happen when I'm at Wildwood this week, or the week that I'm there in the first week of June.
Interesting.
So, yeah. Be on the lookout for a teaser on that.
So I saw a question come across, Sir Grizz. Nick, you have a book getting ready to come out?
I don't know. Is there?
So I didn't want to ask that question because I saw I'll probably skip that one for now.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Hey, so then let's go into this. You're kind of the science guy, right, Nick, when it comes to investigating?
Yes.
So, I mean, probably common sense more than most things, right? Yeah. Whenever you investigate, that's the way I kind of look at it. Are there any particular gadgets or anything that, other than the common sense stuff and your gut feelings and stuff like that, that you tend to utilize whenever you go on your hunts?
If I am out just playing and having fun, I like flashy things. I like all the lights. Show me the lights. But if we are doing a residential case, I am going to take as much audio, video footage as possible. Try to get interaction with like stuff, but just in a little different way, so I can understand that it's more of an intelligent thing. So it's a little mixture of both, I would say. But I do like all the lights and flashy things.
We like the pretty lights.
Show me blue. Show me purple.
Yeah. So you're kind of more of a old school then. I mean, for like your the hunts, like you're saying that you're serious on. You're just doubt. You ever get back into the dowsing rod stuff like that, or just going with the EMFs and stuff?
I look at EMF totally different than most people. Dowsing rods, me personally, I've tried them. I don't really get a whole lot with them. I know Brie, those things just spin around like helicopters when she does it. But yeah, I would definitely say old school. If I'm getting down to the nitty gritty, got to be serious. Having fun. Let's light up the whole room, baby. Let's go.
Oh yeah. I mean, Wildwood, when I'm out there, I'm taking both of our packs. That place is going to be lit up like the 4th of freaking July. We're going to have every light going off. I know a lot of people are like, but that's not real evidence. Okay, it might not be, but you have to understand, though, too, that when you've got people that are seasoned and understand the environment in which we're working in, and I've been to Wildwood, this will be my 4th time. I know where to put the stuff so it's not being affected, and people need to understand their equipment and what environmentally affects it. Lights are pretty and lights are fun, and if you can get intelligent hits like the blue.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about just getting the device to light up. Try to get them. They can manipulate energy. They can manipulate anything like that. So get them to show you a specific color and hold it, and stuff like that. Something that that if there is an interference or a signal coming through it, it's just going to blip it, and if you get them to do a specific color, especially when you ask them, then you kind of know you're interacting with something intelligent.
Yeah.
Now, earlier when we were talking about the old world society, you brought up extraterrestrials. It didn't go over my head as I was just asking some other questions at that time. Without specifically identifying anything, are you able to talk about how you got to that far inside of an investigation? I'm curious about that.
Well, I mean, you hear all the time, people getting, they come out with abductions and sightings and stuff like that. If you're gonna believe in, intelligent residual hauntings of people that were human at one point are now stuck on this plane, and we can go into the different dimensions and religions and stuff like that, but we'd be here for 3 hours. But if you can believe in that, and you can believe in like elementals, something, skinwalkers to Bigfoot, to you name it, you can't just like rule out the extraterrestrial part of it, But if you really think about it, so the term extraterrestrial is something, a being out of this world, correct? So our world is our reality on this 3D dimension. Now, if something is now energy based, it could go wherever it wants, even outside of the planet. Wouldn't they, just a spirit be an extraterrestrial? Wouldn't once we die, we become something extraterrestrial, something we don't understand, And it's been documented even on TV shows. They've had alien episodes on paranormal stuff. So now, with that being said, if we deem that, you're getting visited by a little gray guy, I don't know. I only know a couple people that dive into that stuff and claim they can get rid of them. So I would have to reach out to them, per se. I kind of joke, like, I mean, if the aliens are coming, you're kind of screwed. I mean, I don't know what to do for you. But, I wouldn't rule it out. I mean, you can't rule anything else out. And if you're going to believe in this, you might as well believe in that.
You bring up some good points. We have, we talk to people weekly, and lately everybody kind of has that same feeling, at least, and correct me if I'm wrong, Grizz, we all believe in the paranormal and extraterrestrials, cryptids, all, everything like that is a part of it. You can't believe that there's something you can't see that's a spirit. If you believe in that, you should be able to believe that there's something you can't see that is an extraterrestrial, right? That's that somewhere they got to exist. And in this day and age, there's just so much, to me anyway, there's so much information out there about these things that it's kind of hard to think that they don't exist. And thank God the last, 5-6 years, the paranormal community's really grown, and all the guys that people that used to hide their personalities and all that stuff are able to get out there and bring past evidence that they wouldn't have shown years ago because they'd have been blacklisted or whatever, or made fun of or something like that, which is sad that we had a society like that at that time.
Hold on before you go on. You know what's funny about the paranormal people and the UFO people? You're right. We're kind of merging more as one.
Yeah.
But as before, it was really two different groups, and the paranormal people would always look over the UFO people like, man, those people are really nuts over there.
You're absolutely right.
Even though we're kind of weird ourselves, but we're normal weird. The UFO guys are just weird.
So talk about all that. Have you guys ever? I know you do your investigations and stuff, but like Grizzly's a Bigfoot guy, and not just a Bigfoot guy. He knows tons of stuff about stuff. Have you guys ever gone on a search for Bigfoot or anything like that? Just trying to test the waters of the other exciting things that are out there in the paranormal.
I don't know if I'll ever do a Bigfoot thing. I don't know. My thing is, what if I found him? What's he gonna do to me? You know what I mean?
What's he gonna do to him, Grizz?
I don't know. Maybe he'll give you a hug and kiss.
Do I have to bring some Jack Links?
Oh, I'm down. I'm coming. If you're going to bring that out, I'll be there.
Yeah, they're homemade. I'll come.
That's right.
So I don't know. Never really crossed my mind.
But see, this is what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Nick and Brie will be on a ghost hunt, ladies and gentlemen. All of a sudden, they'll be all out back looking for orbs, and there it stands, Bigfoot. What are you going to do? What the hell? Right? It happens.
You'll run up and give it a big ass hug.
Look, Sonny's laughing. I'm telling you, this is what's happening to ghost hunters. Look at the Conjuring house. People are out back playing with their EMFs and all that other stuff. Next thing you know, rocks are being thrown, tree knocks and grunts and everything else. It's happening.
Well, if you want to hear about cryptid, I got a cryptid story.
See, here it comes. I knew it was coming.
Okay. If you know anything about Hinsdale's like Disney World for the paranormal. It covers everything. I mean, you've got UFO sightings, you've got Sasquatch sightings, you've got a Pukwudgie picture that our great friend, my big brother / dad / grandpa Jeff Fent took a picture of. Yeah. Well, you kept changing his title last week, so I'm all confused of my relation now. So, he got an amazing picture of what sure looks like a Pukwudgie, and this is not a tampered picture. Took it at night on his phone. So sorry, I just saw a comment.
I guess you know this guy, right?
So I'm doing. It's
huge.
Sean, don't be getting jealous now, and we got to keep it PG. Don't egg me on. So I'm at Hinsdale doing the kickoff for the 3-night, 3-location event for Remotely Paranormal. I get done with it, and I've had amazing interaction and activity within the house. Like, I'm actually having activity in places that I hadn't had it before, and I'd been there twice before this visit. So I kick over when I get done. I take a break, call Nick, check in. Because the one thing I will tell people, if you go to Hinsdale, be prepared for your cell phones not to work. It will kick you into SOS mode. And with me having an iPhone, I could only actually make phone calls if I was calling iPhone to iPhone. If it was Android, I had to call on Facebook Messenger. So call in with him, do a safety check-in, since I am out in the middle of literal BFE. Get off the phone, I kick over to TikTok, and I did hour and a half, 2 hours upstairs investigating and getting amazing shadow play on the grid, interaction with the REM pod, trip lights going off, a lot of touching, disembodied voices that the audience, that's one thing I love, is investigating and being able to do it with a live audience. We always tell our live audience, make sure your earbuds are charged and you've got your gaming headset plugged in, because you're going to get real-time EVPs. You're going to be able to capture things live that we're not going to hear. If that happens, get a timestamp and send it to us so we can go back and review the live footage. I decided to take a cigarette break, and considering, smoking on TikTok it'll get you banned real quick.
Yes, it will.
It'll get you on a 10-minute timeout. Learned the hard way one time. But also because of the Wi-Fi situation, I couldn't take I'm running live on my phone. I couldn't take my phone off the enclosed front porch. So I left it with the camera facing me. Now, when I'd been talking to Nick and I was outside having a cigarette, like, what was that, right before I did Remotely Paranormal, it was pitch black. Like, it was supposed to be a full moon. And so, like, I'm even more excited because, full moon polarity, like, that's supposed to kick up the activity. And, but it's pitch black outside. I could not, I've got a little white Nissan Versa, and I actually pulled it around and it was parked with the nose headed straight out in case I needed a GTFO if something bad went down. I couldn't see past my car. And I started hearing like weird noises, and I'm like, I'm hearing stuff. And he's like, get in the house. And I'm like, yep, on my way. So when I go to have my cigarette break when I'm on TikTok, it's bright as day. Like, clouds are gone, full moon's shining bright. And I'm standing on the sidewalk in front of the house, and I notice a white figure where there's no trees, no nothing that should be showing white. And I'm kind of confused because they do have an apparition of a lady in white that shows up at Hinsdale. But she doesn't show on that side of the house. She's always been reported where the pond is on the opposite end. So, like, I start walking towards it a little bit, and I'm bending down, and I'm trying to get a better look. And it turns sideways. Now, it's as I'm looking at the back, like, it's looking at me like this. But when it turns sideways, I realize it's arched.
Ah.
And I'm like, I said quite a few colorful words in my head, and it turns back towards me. Now it's like faced at me, and this thing is like galloping. I flicked my cigarette, ran inside, grabbed the tripod, locked the doors, like set the alarm on the doors, and went and sat on the couch for about an hour and a half. Like, I knew what I saw, and I'm like, great, I'm going to be the crazy chick that claims that she saw a freaking rake at Hinsdale. No, there's actually a great video capture that's been played on Paranormal Cotton Camera. You can actually
Yes, I know what
Google
you're
it.
talking about.
You can look at it on YouTube. There's a husband and wife. They're at like a T-juncture in Canada, and they're watching like the moose eat. And you see this rake-like creature like coming out of the woods, like creeping up. And that was what I saw. So a lot of people, if you do the research on the rake and the history of it, the rake was actually introduced to the internet in 2018 as a creepy pasta. Kind of like the comeback to Slenderman. It's fake. But this is where you can prove manifestation is real. What if, due to all the conjecture, all the talk, all the spreading of these horror stories of, oh my God, these people were killed by a rake, we have now manifested, everybody, the rake into existence.
We actually did a show on that, and it is possible. Because the D word you don't like me to say. And we watching horror movies that we can manifest things, and it does happen. I spared you, Nick. I didn't want to say the D word, but yeah.
But it took me, like, I refused to even say the name. I was just like, I ain't saying what it is. If you guess it in the comments, I will call your name and let you know if you got it right. And of course, everybody's dropping what they think it is. And finally, one person hits it, and I'm like, you got it. And like, I'm literally like, you can tell I'm visibly shaking. I'm sitting there, like, tears are starting to come down. Like, I'm trying to rationalize. It's almost like if you found out, like, how old are your youngins you're watching there, Tracy?
My 9-month-old granddaughter.
So she won't understand. Okay, if anybody's got young children in the ears, cover their ears. It's kind of like if we were to see SANTA in real life, and we're like, wait, that's really real? No. that just comes from that's like a saint, you know, like, yes, that video clip. So you guys are going to see it coming through the woods on the left, and it circles around to the right, I believe. Yeah, that's what I saw. Oh, this is a different camera angle than what I saw, because I saw it on the right with the last one. Yeah, that's what I saw. That is exactly what I saw. And that thing moves fast. And yeah. So for the rest of the night, I'm sitting on the couch and I'm rationalizing, having a conversation. I actually go into a really good conversation with the live audience, talking about how we can manifest things into being. And this is why we got to be careful when we're going to haunted locations, not using the D word for the clickbait, not using it for the likes, not using it to have the, you know, give me 50 llamas, or the universes, you know, like, we need to start really thinking it through, what we're saying and what, because I mean, you can even look at it from a religious standpoint. The Bible even says there's life and there's death in your tongue. The tongue is a two-edged sword. Okay, there's got to be some truth to this, you know, like, let's really start thinking through what we're saying and what we're claiming we're seeing when we're at locations. You know, there's a whole trickle effect of how this can negatively affect the people involved. You don't really want that. But yeah, it was hunting an animal there, but I didn't see any animals, but it doesn't mean there wasn't an animal in the field that it saw, and it saw me, and I was bigger. I'm a thick girl. I'm juicy. Of course it wanted me.
What the? I was not expecting that. Ladies and gentlemen, that came out of nowhere.
Well, folks, we just ruined the show. Had a good time. We'll see you later.
I kept her PG. That's PG. I did not cuss. I actually have bit my tongue quite a few times and struggled. And
that was funny.
Words.
That was a good one.
See, there's your clip. You do a right there. You got a clip for.
Yeah, I'm gonna capture that one. That was funny.
But yeah, the rest of the night, there was literally, like, the house was shaking. Like, you could hear, like, the siding being banged. You could hear the windows getting banged. And, like, the first floor of Hinsdale, they've got metal grates on the outside to keep any vagrants from getting in, due to how it had been, you know, inhabited by, you know, homeless and whatnot. For quite a many years after the last family that was there had passed away, it sat abandoned until Daniel Kless, and I totally butchered his last name. Sorry, Dan, if you're watching. He bought it in 2011 and started renovations then. You could hear, like, the metal grates, like, you could hear them, like, the hinges that they're on, you could hear them, like, rattling. You could hear that they were, like, the metal straining. I don't know how else to put it, you know. I'll be honest, I didn't check the metal grates in the morning. As soon as I got up, I packed my stuff. I got ready for the day. I took a couple promo pictures standing out front, threw everything in the car, and said, I'm out. You know, so no, that's actually a moose. That video was taken, I believe, on the Canadian border. It was done in Canada.
Yeah, it's actually a moose.
Yeah,
I never forget when that video clip came first out, because I don't think, and this is just my opinion, I don't think that was CGI, because they came real familiar with, real good with actually trying to weed out the fake videos. Because I can't remember the producer a couple of years ago. They just don't show everybody's video. They actually comb through them. So I don't know. What's your all's take on it?
I believe it's what they claim it is. I
So,
mean, I've talked to a couple people that are on the paranormal caught on camera, and I specifically have asked them. We're actually uh good friends with Brian J. Cano, who's on there, and I actually collabed with him in October when I was on my trip out east. And I asked him about it, and I was like, what did you think?" And we had a pretty decent conversation about it and about different videos that have come on. And there's a few where he really raised his eyebrow and was like, I don't think it should have passed the standards to come on the show. But I mean, from everybody that I've met, that I'll be honest, that I look up to, that I believe is extremely smart and good at what they do in the paranormal field, regardless if it's, haunted location investigation, cryptid, the UFO, Bigfoot, just about across the board, everybody I've talked to, they think that video is a legit video.
right.
They're not able to disprove it. And the way it contorts, even somebody from the medical field once said that, yeah, you got contortionists out there, but for somebody to fake a video like that in the way that thing was moving, they were like, that can't be human. So it really makes you think. I mean, you got to think about the ocean. We've only discovered, what, 3% of it?
Yeah, if that. I think it was 96 point something. So, yeah.
And how much of the world is covered in forest? Do you really want me to believe that we have walked through every square inch of forested land in the United States?
I do.
I mean, and not uncovered something?
I got one word for you. Antarctica.
Agreed.
I'm talking about like the East Coast to West Coast to East Coast.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
Right.
we've explored every square
I
inch of
mean,
this
there's
country.
so much though that I believe that they're able to walk circumferences of areas and say, okay, here's woods. This is their property.
They're interdimensional beings.
So, I mean, and the more that we investigate though, like we even, like, because I've been getting a lot of people telling me, I do visit certain locations more so than others. And like Wildwood, for instance, Bump in the Night Society, they're great friends of ours. I mean, they're practically family. They actually had an event in mid-March, I think it was, at Wildwood, and they were doing an investigation in the seance room, and my name keeps coming through. And so, like, I really started thinking about it one night when we were coming home from an investigation. And I was like, what if it's like dimensions? Like, we think if we hear Nick, like, oh my gosh, is it calling out to you? And then we hear F you, get out, warnings coming through. What if it's like dimensions overlapping and you're coming into like that's you, like you're crossing paths with yourself, and yourself is like, you don't belong here, get out. Like, or we're crossing, where we've investigated before. A lot of people are like, oh, I got this name and this is amazing, and oh man, like that's my name, they're calling me out. Like, it just really, like, let's think beyond that. Like, I really want to challenge investigators, start thinking beyond. Get rid of your box, throw your box in the recycling bin.
Well, I'm a cat. I like a box.
I'll get you a furry bed, it'll be fine.
Okay.
So, I mean, throw your box in the recycling.
I couldn't keep a straight face on that one. I tried.
I will
I tried.
do this. Is that good?
So, I tried. So, yeah.
Okay, keeping it PG. So,
This has got to be killing.
it's so much.
56 minutes in, and you've been.
I'm about to burst.
You did good.
I
Really
deserve a
good.
gold star and cookie for this, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So how do people find you and follow you and so forth?
Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first, babe?
Just like Batman. just hit the little sky, you know, the, what do you call it, the light thing, and then put the OWPS symbol up, and I'll come running.
Yeah, why not?
We'll come barreling down the road in the truck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You go first.
So you can find me on all social media platforms, Paranormal Trip and Brie. You can actually look up my name, Brie Hollingshead, and you'll find me. I'm on Twitter, Threads, although I really suck at Threads. Instagram, of course, Facebook, and TikTok. Oh, and YouTube. I'm on YouTube.
You're on YouTube right
Yeah, but I've got my own YouTube channel.
now. Yeah, you have a channel?
I have a channel.
I gotta subscribe to that.
Are you kidding me? All the OWPS stuff that I push, and you
That
haven't
is funny.
subscribed to my own channel?
Yep.
Oh, you are in so much trouble.
It's funny.
Well,
You,
know,
don't get your gold star and cookie.
I had a good run, folks. It's gonna kill me tonight.
Man, if something really happens to you, do you realize every time you say that you're setting me up for the fall?
That's right.
I caught
We're all gonna be interviewed. Yes, we did have the last
Because
interview.
they got it on live recording.
Yeah.
You can find
Just
us
because I look good in orange doesn't mean you got to forcibly put me in it, okay?
Old World Paranormal Society. It's OLDE as in old, like really old.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. It was a pleasure. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, tonight at 9:00, we got another show and somebody special making an appearance. So tune in for that. So coast to coast around the world, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you shortly. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Coming to a YouTube channel near you.